when I first decided that I was going to burn myself alive, I didn't actually care if I got out. I didn't want to be alive.
Right.
Kind of an idea I threw out there, but I thought, you know what, maybe it's time to put myself in the ground. I can't perform magic in front of my wife. Like, I'm terrible. Like,
Really?
Wow. Yeah, like, it's a strange thing because I care so much about her opinion of me.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't see any of my TV show before it was on TV.
Wow. No way.
So
I would have to be like showing Fiona everything. Like, what do you think of this bit? What do you think of that
Yeah.
bit?
I think it's partly because I know that if I showed her something and if she didn't like any little ounce of
She'll
it,
tell you.
Yeah.
she'd tell me, which is good.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it would hurt me more because
Yeah,
it's coming
yeah.
from her.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
certain friends of mine that I refused to show anything to because I was doing the edits. I was editing like every day, probably till like 3 or 4 in the morning.
What, you were editing the show?
Yeah, we had 5 edit suites on the go at the same
Right.
time, and I was walking from room to room with different
No
editors
way.
and refining things here and there, picking songs, changing things. There was an incredible team around me.
Yeah.
Like some bits I did edit.
Wow.
And then
way.
there was
That's
some bits I filmed. So sometimes I was grabbing the camera and filming as well.
Wow.
So I was so involved in the process, but because I was so involved, then I was so scared to let anybody see it.
Yeah, right.
In some ways, I'm kind of glad that I was burying myself alive live the night the show went out, because I didn't have to watch the show with anyone.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to
like,
ask
even
where
my-
you were when it came out, but you
Yeah,
were there.
I was
Yeah,
I was in the ground, and my wife, she had a watch party, her families with all of her sisters and everything, and that was the first time they'd seen anything.
Right.
But I'm kind of glad that I wasn't there watching with them, because I'd be too nervous and anxious
Yeah.
about what they think, and so
Was your wife not nervous when you're
Yeah.
burying yourself alive?
yeah.
But she's that confident in you. She's like, friends and family come over.
Yeah, I just think
If that goes wrong, that is a terrible, terrible night, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's one of the
There's a
reasons.
damper
That's,
on
the
your
thing,
dad.
that's also one of the reasons why I didn't actually want her at the live burial.
Right,
Because
okay.
you don't want to be there, and
Yeah.
you don't want your wife to watch you die on, live.
Yeah. When you do these huge things, like on Dynamo is Dead, the burial's obviously a huge stunt, your comeback stunt. Why did you go for that in particular? Because I guess the possibilities are endless, but why the burial?
When I first decided that I was going to burn myself alive, I didn't actually care if I got out. I didn't want to be alive.
Right.
But I just felt the weight of the world on me at that time, like mentally. So it was just kind of an idea I threw out there that I thought, you know what, maybe it's time to put myself in the ground. And it's quite mad, because as I worked on myself and actually started to, make the whole Dynamo is Dead show, I was reminded or discovered all the incredible things that are worth being alive for. So when it came to actually doing it the night of the show, I had everything to be alive for, and I didn't really want to get in that hole anymore, because it was kind of like I'd just evolved into a different person. Like, the journey I went on in Dynamo is Dead genuinely was a real journey, and I'm not the same person sitting in front of you now that I would have been if I'd have sat in front of you before I made that show.
Right.
Like, the wisdom that the guests shared with me, their stories of how they overcome their adversities, like, had a lasting impact and will impact on me forever, to be honest. So yeah, I think, my nan died, my dogs died, in the same weekend. There was a lot of other things going on that were just making me feel like life was not worth living. And magicians of the past have attempted the buried alive stunt, and it was my kind of immediate reaction, you know, all right, maybe it's time to put myself in a hole, you know, maybe I need to die with my nana, with my dogs. But then, like I say, as I grew on this journey, it became something that could be a symbol of hope if I was able to get out of the hole I've dug myself.
Wow. Well, the world's a better place with you in it, Stephen. That's for sure. And that show is fucking amazing.
I don't want to get too deep.
No. We can go back to
so.
Bollards in a bit, mate. We can go back to Bollards in a bit. But no, it's like I said a few times, go and check it out, guys, because it is worth checking out, even if you did choose Stephen Bartlett over me. Why? That's a joke, by the way. Why did you call it Dynamo is Dead? Are you no longer going to be going as Dynamo?
I feel that I'm not the same person that I was. You know, the Dynamo who sat in front of you years ago when we had that chat on the podcast feels like a long distant memory now. You know, I've been through stuff, I've been through life, and I've come out the other side, and I'm a lot older, I'm a lot, you know, I've had a lot more experiences that have shaped and informed the person that I am today. And I think as an artist, it's important that you always try and grow. And, you know, you can't cling on to the past forever, you know. And I think for me, I'm excited about the future now. And I feel like I've shed the parts of me that kind of needed to be shed.
Yeah.
And I'm in a very, very happy place now where I'm probably the most comfortable I've ever been just being myself. I think for years I hid behind the mask of Dynamo. And I felt like people had accepted Dynamo, but they not necessarily accepted me. And I felt like I had to play this character. And it got to the point where it's exhausting.
So in the future, people coming out to see your live magic, if that's something you choose to do, is it going to be under Stephen Frayne then? Is that where we're going to come and see Stephen?
I think people can call me whatever they want, as long as they call me. You know, I am Stephen. You know, my friends, my family, they call me Stephen. And you know, ultimately, Dynamo is always going to be a part of me, but I think I've realised that the best parts of Dynamo were small parts of Stephen. So if I can give all of Stephen, all of the parts of me now, then that could make for an even better version of myself and of the magic that you've seen in the past. So yeah, it's about, I think it's just about finding a way where I can share the thing that I love in magic, but not have to share it behind the mask.
Just
you know
be,
what I mean?
yeah, can just be you.